Well, 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 hold on to your long boxes and your pull lists, my friends, because something truly, potentially unbelievable is making waves in the comic world. Something so seemingly self-defeating, so utterly confusing or perplexing, it makes you wonder if Marvel's left their collective minds in a jar somewhere. Honestly, that's probably the case. We're talking about the Ultimate Universe, and if the whispers are true, this is a rumor, a very big rumor, it's about to be utterly, completely gone. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. What we have today is a rumor, but if it's true, it could be a bombshell, and it was dropped not from an official press release, but from the unlikeliest of places, a tweet by someone who works on one of the Ultimate line titles, Zach Davison, who is the translator and co-scriptwriter for Ultimate X-Men. A legitimate source, mind you, but one Marvel hasn't exactly been quick to corroborate. What's the claim? The entire Ultimate Universe line, as we know it, is slated to either end or be completely rebooted in roughly 6 months. Now, believe me, the internet has their opinions about it, because if you've been paying attention, the rumor isn't just surprising, it's borderline absurd when you look at the numbers, specifically one big number. Let's get right to the elephant in the room, or should I say, the Spider-Man in the sales charts. For over a year now, Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto's Ultimate Spider-Man has not just been good, it's been a sales juggernaut. It has consistently, month over month, outsold Marvel's main flagship title, Amazing Spider-Man. Let that sink in. The brand new, refreshed Ultimate Peter Parker, married with kids, is dominating the sales conversation compared to Marvel's flagship title. Now, given that undeniable, verifiable fact, and we've got ICV2 top 50 data to show that trend and comparison, how on earth does canceling the entire line, or at least rebooting it, including your biggest current hit, make any sense? It's like a chef throwing out their signature dish because the other menu items aren't selling. And yeah, this is true. A lot of their other titles aren't selling. Now, before some of you start furiously typing at me, but the other books aren't doing well, they're not doing well, let's talk about those other books. Our friends over at ICV2 have diligently tracked the top 50 sales, and yes, if you look at the last 6 months, the picture of the rest of the Ultimate line isn't quite as rosy, with one exception, in this case, Ultimate Wolverine. We've seen a steady, undeniable decline in rankings for titles like Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Black Panther, and the Ultimates. While Ultimate Spider-Man continues to soar, the others are, well, let's be honest, they're settling into what one might charitably call mid-tier or even worse. Ultimate Black Panther has completely fallen off the charts. But here's why my I told you so hat feels oddly comfortable. Why are these books struggling? It's not a mystery that you need somebody to solve, like Doctor Strange or somebody else like Reed Richards. We've seen a palpable lack of cohesion across the entire Ultimate line. It promised a new, interconnected universe, all moving towards a big event, which is in this case is the return of the Maker. But what we've often received are disparate stories that feel like they're happening in entirely different realities, with little narrative to pull them together and tie them into one cohesive story. You're left asking, wait, how does this connect to that? And when you're shelling out $5 an issue, I'm confused isn't exactly a ringing endorsement. And then there's the pacing. My goodness, the pacing is terrible. In a world of digital immediacy where everything is happening day after day, week after week, month after month, these books often feel like they're meandering towards a destination no one's quite sure of. Story arcs drag, reveals are postponed, things happen in between titles that are never fully fleshed out, and frankly, patience, like good sales, is a finite resource for comic readers. You can't pay a premium price on a cover for a comic that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and do that for a very long period of time. So, naturally, as you would expect when a rumor like this surfaces, the internet, the bastion of calm and collected discussion, of course, absolutely went ballistic. And I'm not being sarcastic for once, although that does happen sometimes. The overwhelming sentiment, disbelief, quickly followed by a healthy dose of what is Marvel thinking? Many are echoing the sentiment that ending the entire line just because a few titles underperformed, especially when your crown jewel is shining brighter than ever, is peak editorial mismanagement. It's like cutting off your arm because your hand hurts, instead, treating the hand as you should. Then there's the frustration over the perceived lack of commitment. This is a brand new Ultimate Universe, barely a year and a half old. To pull the plug this soon, especially with lack of any real build-up to a final grand crescendo, it feels, well, to be honest, unearned, like a sudden, unceremonious stop rather than a dramatic, well-orchestrated finale. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, suggesting Marvel might be a bit too trigger-happy with its reboots and cancellations, eroding reader trust in the long run. That's not where Marvel wants to be right now. There's no grand, epic, Secret Wars level event being hinted at to justify this. It's just poof, and it's gone. And of course, the ever-present I told you so crowd has emerged, myself included, pointing fingers at Marvel's tendency to flood the market and then quickly prune rather than nurture. It's almost as if they're saying maybe, just maybe, launching multiple series with inconsistent quality and then expecting them all to magically be the same level of sales hit as Ultimate Spider-Man is a flawed business model. It's just a thought, something to consider. And if we replay the clock, go way back when the Ultimate Universe was announced with Hickman, personally, I said, this is a bad idea. They're banking on the Peter Parker family to bring in sales, and I think to a certain degree it has, but if it doesn't stick, if it doesn't hold weight, and it doesn't become part of their mainstay, it's not going to be a good thing, and it's just going to damage the brand rather than help the brand. So if this rumor turns out to be true, that is absolutely what is happening here, and I'm going to take off my Nostradamus hat, but say, yeah, this was a bad idea if they couldn't make it stick. Now again, this is a rumor. We're going to be very clear and upfront about this. This is a rumor. It's not confirmed by Marvel proper. It is coming from a Marvel person who is working on these titles. So that's some credibility, but at the end of the day, it's still not an official announcement. But if this rumor holds true, what happens next? Marvel's track record is a bit like a roller coaster, full of twists, turns, and occasional nausea. Maybe a little bit more of the latter than should be. So let's talk about some possibilities. Number one, you could have a soft reboot again. It's Marvel, after all. Maybe they end this iteration of the Ultimate Universe only to relaunch it a year later with another approach, promising yet again a fresh start. Sort of creating a cycle, if you will, but not entirely improbable outcome given the history. Number two, here's a second option. Selective survival. Is it possible that only Ultimate Spider-Man truly survives, perhaps rebranded, or quietly folded into a different corner of the Marvel Universe? It's too popular to simply vanish, right? I mean, that's what I think, but most people may not agree. This seems like the most logical, if still frustrating, path from a business standpoint. Keep the title that works, get rid of the rest. And then you have the third option, a genuine end. It seems unlikely, but imagine the audacity of it. Marvel truly closes the chapter, leaving these characters to exist purely in their short, impactful run. While it would sting for fans for a certain period of time, it would also give a finite, impactful legacy to what Ultimate Spider-Man achieved. It'd be almost, you could even say respectful. Almost. The bigger implication here for Marvel as a whole is one of strategic clarity. What is the purpose of the Ultimate line if not to provide accessible, new, reader-friendly entry points that can stand on their own? Have they achieved that? I think personally, no, they have not. But if they can sustain more than one truly successful title, in this case we have Ultimate Spider-Man and maybe Ultimate Wolverine, perhaps the entire concept needs reevaluation, not just a premature burial. Ultimately, this rumor, while unconfirmed by official channels, paints a rather confusing picture for the future of Marvel's Ultimate Universe. It highlights the perplexity dichotomy of a runaway success in Ultimate Spider-Man, juxtaposed against what appears to be a hasty retreat from the rest of the line. If it's true, it's a baffling decision that questions Marvel's long-term vision. If it's not, well, someone needs to tell the insiders to keep their mouths shut, and Marvel needs to start hyping the rest of the universe. But what do you think? Is Marvel making a huge mistake? Or is this a necessary evil to cut losses and preserve their most popular new title? Let me know your thoughts, theories, and outrage, if you so feel it, in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of this story, get more insights, and hear my sharp, witty, and occasionally sarcastic take on the ever-evolving world of comics, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button down below for notifications. Because if Marvel keeps pulling stunts like this, you want to be here for the commentary, trust me.